Hello, everyone. My name is John Dennison. I'm at mission.com, and today we are going to be speaking to you about overcoming mission block and some of the other obstacles to making a difference. This is a subject that everyone who embarks upon a path of service should be conscious of throughout their time that they are following this inner guidance. Again, let's back up for a second. You, if you're watching this, I'm assuming are a conscious leader or otherwise trying to make sort of a difference in your world. That means that you're doing something that's trying to improve the state of the world around you, and hopefully also improving your life as well in the process. If you're not, and let's start with that concept, because this is where a lot of servers go wrong. I guess I'm having to back up and get us on the same page of terminology here. I use the term awakening servers quite often in my speaking, and I'm probably going to be referring to it today. Is that an awakening server is someone that is awakening or realizing that there is a call inside them that is asking them or urging them to add some contribution to their world. It may be through creative expression, such as writing music or poetry or books or whatever you have to say, or having a message to deliver. It may be as a social entrepreneur where you are addressing a social problem. It may be within the context of business or the business that you work for, trying to make it a more conscious workplace. It could be in political affairs, in public service. It could be just about anywhere. It's anything that you feel an urge within you to do to try to make a difference in the state of our world, and in so doing, make a difference in your life as well. As an awakening server, and I'm assuming that you are an awakening server, that you are awakening and beginning to hear this voice that's whispering inside you, you're going to find yourself encountering many different obstacles on the path of service. And this path of service, you should understand, is all part of life. We're going to start with the service itself. Why are you doing this? And because this is probably the most important reason for you to answer for yourself. Why are you feeling this urge? What is it about you that this is drawing out of you? And what is it adding to your life? Now, I come at service from a spiritual perspective, this perspective that we are all on this spiritual path of our own evolution. And we are coming to not only evolve ourselves, but help to evolve our collective humanity, this world that we live in. And it is in the advancement of this cause that I have been called forth to share with you my understandings and the things that I have learned along the way. And it is also in the advancement of the cause that I believe you are working in whatever capacity. And it may just be the fact that you're taking care of children or someone else that's in need, that you are doing this as a gift of love or a demonstration of your love. These are all part of the call to serve. And service is really a matter of creating this energetic exchange with someone else where you are giving to them and then you are receiving back from them some value or benefit as a result of that. The primary benefit that I'd like you to consider that you are receiving from your efforts to serve in the world are related to you and your life path and the evolution of your soul. Life is all about the experiences. Everything we get here that's going on happens so that we can evolve. It gives us the opportunity to look at ourselves, look at our relationship to source, look at our relationship to each other, and then move forward in a manner that is going to allow us to express what we find within ourselves in the world that we live in. Well, awakening servers or conscious servers or conscious leaders, or however you'd like to look at the term, begin to be aware of all these factors, begin to see the experiential nature and experience benefit of the lives they're living. They begin to see that the experiences that they're bringing them are actually opportunities for them to change, if they choose, how they go about living their lives, how they go about whether the experiences they get while they're here. And it is these experiences it's all about. Well, in the path of service, the experience you would think would be, okay, well, I have an urgent service. Somebody needs my help, I go help. Okay, that's really simple. I lend a helping hand. And sometimes it is just as simple as lending a helping hand. But other times, those efforts to help don't always work out the way you want. Sometimes we try to help people that don't want to be helped. And how many times have you tried to point out something that you see, what's going on in someone's lives or their affairs, so that they could perhaps see a different perspective and a different choice, should they choose? But they reject it. Instead, they fight. They become an adversarial relationship because you're trying to help them. So again, the process of help is a relative, because it can create a circumstance where you are, and what you want to do is diametrically opposed to what the people that you're trying to serve want. And this comes from a situation of an ego getting involved. Your ego and their egos. Coming from the standpoint of, know that there's value here. You think it is best interest, we try to present it to them in a manner that they can see the best interest. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so is the value that comes from the or the service or information or help that you are offering to them. And if they don't see the value in it, if they don't have the attraction or the need in it, then it becomes a matter of your ego conflicting with their ego, and two heads but sides. So, as a conscious leader who was awakening to this call to serve, it is important to begin to see these egoic interactions between you and the people that you want to serve. Now, maybe you are having trouble with them, with trying to get people to see what you see, do what you should. Perhaps that's a time to reevaluate the call. See, is it really calling you to try to push forward and impress it upon them in some way? Or is it calling upon you to look at it and say, well, where's my effort to help? Where does my view serve them? Where does it serve me? And why may they not see it this way? What is it within the situation that's going on within them that's causing the resistance? Because it's these points of resistance that are going to create the experience, an experience of even greater importance than what you're trying to help them. Because it's the experience of egos clashing. And conscious leaders, first and foremost, need to recognize the interaction of egos in their world. Because it is through that they must work, and it is through the ego of the people that they're trying to help that they must serve. They must find a way, if they're going to be successful in their service, to penetrate that egoic barrier and make it possible for them to get the message through, to be considered. And if it's a message, it may be helping hands, where you're feeding someone, but they don't want to accept food. You're trying you want to give someone a ride that's in the rain, and they just rather keep walking. You don't know what's going through someone's head, but sometimes it's important to try to figure it out, why those points are clashing. And it may not be for their benefit. It may be for yours, for you to see what it is within you that's causing you to be a bull in the china shop and push forward. That nobody seems to want it, or at least the people that you're trying to do it for don't want it. So this is probably the first area that I would ask you to look at when you are considering why your efforts to serve or may not be working the way you want. But there are thousands of obstacles besides that, but they all start with this egoic interaction. The interplay of energies between you and other people, and how you affect them and how they affect you. And when you hit these points of resistance, don't look at them as doors that you have to break down, so much as that these are rest areas for you to stop and observe what's going on inside you, and to whatever extent you can, try to observe what's going on within them, because those make all the difference in the world. Is to just to change how you see them, see what's going on within you and how you're going about it. And it may be simply that's a matter of approach that you're having a problem with and not what you're trying to do. Now, I've noticed in my own affairs that often I agree with what people are saying, but I don't agree with how they're trying to do it. Because to me, the end does not justify the means. This is a famous phrase from Machiavelli that was given to his print, and he wrote in the Prince, I guess back somewhere in the 1500s. And Machiavelli was a very pragmatic person, and he was advising his prince how to maintain power. Well, we're not trying to gain power or keep it here. What we're trying to do is figure out the relationships by which power begins to flow back and forth between people in their affairs. But Machiavelli talked about the end justifying the means. In other words, what it is, the goal that you're working for, the results you're seeking, if that is a righteous goal, if that is something worthwhile, then whatever means you go about getting it is okay. Even if you got to put it at the point of a gun or kill someone. Well, let's say that you think you know best for what someone else needs. So what? It's not your life they're living, it's their lives. All you can do is offer it to them and see if they can find a place within it. If it resonates within them sufficiently for them to want to explore what it might mean for them. But the opposite end of the spectrum is that from Machiavelli's principle of the end justifying the means is that the end is the means. How we get there matters as much as where we're going. And this is what I was to before, talking about people having the urge to force their views on other people. And we may completely agree with what it is they're trying to do, but their methods just drive us nuts. They strike chords within us that cause us to resist. They bring out these factors within us that make us stop and say, whoa, this isn't for me. And this is what you, as a conscious leader, may encounter in your efforts to serve, to make a difference. Now, you may find yourself in a way where you don't even have any interaction with people. It doesn't matter to you. But let's say you're an author and you have a book that you're writing and you're trying to put forth a particular idea. Well, how do you put forth that idea? Are you doing it arrogantly, as if you know best, that you are, or that you're trying to ram it through and you're saying this is the right way and everything else is the wrong way? Or put it in a way that's going to challenge your ability to set your aside and do it from a place of humility, suggestion, or offering it to someone. But offering it in a manner that is there if they want it, and if they don't want it, it's okay too. Just like videos are available to you here on YouTube. And if you choose to watch them, that's great. And if you don't, that's fine. Because we are all disciples on this path of awakening. We are all learning and growing and experiencing life together, contributing to each other's experiences just as we are contributing to our own. That doesn't mean all of our experiences come from our own efforts, but it means that we can shape them. We can shape how we respond to them. We can shape how we go about getting them. So the effort of your service is going to depend on you and where you are in the evolution of yourself. It's this self-evolution, self-realization, or self-awareness, some like to use, that allows you to see some factors that are going into is causing you to act and respond in the manner that you're doing at this particular moment. And when you're in those points of resistance with other people, it is an opportunity for you to look at the methods you're using and say, well, geez, maybe the methods I'm using aren't exactly what's needed to accomplish this. So that it may be something within you that has to change so that you can have the success that you want. The whole range of obstacles that are for those who serve, put under a term called mission block. That these are things that cause your mission not to move forward the way that you want. And this mission block is really, really difficult for many servers to deal with, to work through, and especially to overcome. This mission block is just that. It is an obstacle that has been erected to keep you from doing what you're going to do, or what you want to do, or what you've chosen to do. And again, there is an element within you. It's not just that you are being called by this inner voice, but there is this inner voice that is inviting you into this partnership arrangement that you have to choose to go and act with it, and to go with it to accomplish goals that are urging you to work toward. But those urges may be coming simply to lead you down the path to points of resistance and encounter mission block. And mission block is going to be the obstacle. And it comes in many different forms and many different causes. Many of them come from within you. They come from the way you see and go about the things that you're trying to do to advance your mission. They come from the things that happen within you over the course of your lifetime, the pains, the scars you've picked up over the years that may make it so that you are reluctant to go do some of the things that you think you know that you should do. And until you begin to see these things within yourself and begin to overcome them, it will be extremely difficult for you to have the success in creating the mission and making the difference you want to make. And mission is a general catch-all term that doesn't really have to do with going off and starting some social enterprise or a charity or a business, or even helping somebody in need. The mission is the sense of purpose that is driving. It is what the sense of purpose within you, this urge is fueling. It's driving you towards. It's the mission, is the process of trying to achieve that. And again, it may not be achieving something that you particularly see as service to someone else. It may just end up as being service. For instance, there are a number of people that have started businesses that through their first 20, 30 years of their business life, they were focused only upon making money and getting this business running. And then their view changed. They began to see that they can do things with the money, and they start becoming in philanthropy, or they may change the way that they do business and try to be more conscious in the manner of their business. So something within them causes them to change, just this urge to undertake this mission or effort to make their affairs move in another direction. The reason behind this, though, is important. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you feel the urge to serve? Why do you want to make a difference? Because this why is the fuel that you have to find a way to access when you are in these situations of mental block. When you hit an obstacle, the why is what's going to say, do you keep trying or do you stop? And again, every time you hit a block, you have to encounter this egoic interaction within yourself where you are evaluating your own inner processes. Hey, well, what is going on inside me that makes me this way? And am I trying to act out something within myself benefit for me, or advancement of a self-image, or feedback or acknowledgement from others, or some feeling of worthiness that you're trying to connect? Or is it truly an effort to serve? Because service is typically giving to others without an expectation of getting in return. Well, we know that this isn't the way that most of us work in this world. There is typically always some expectation of return. So therefore, the effort of service or the path of service can often become tainted with self-interest that you have brought to the table in considering and undertaking this venture. Self-interest, I touched base last week a little bit on this, which is, who do you serve? Who exactly is it that you're serving when you are hearing this inner voice? And why are you choosing to serve that particular interest or energy? And these are all conscious or subconscious decisions that we all make based upon a whole myriad of factors. A lot of those factors, being subconscious, are buried deep within us, like the fears that we have, or the desires of what we want for ourselves or our families and friends, or for the world. And those things all matter, but they all go into the makeup of why we're doing what we're doing. Because if you don't understand the why, it's going to be very hard for you to evaluate how to proceed when you hit the obstacle. Because sometimes when you hit an obstacle, the best thing is not necessarily be to try to bust through it or go around it. It may be to sit and wait, find clarity before you move on. Or it may be to backtrack to some earlier place, or maybe to stop what you're doing, to take the resistance as a way of questioning you and saying, are you really sure you want to go down this path? So you got to understand, conscious leadership starts with your own consciousness. Making a difference starts with you inside. If you don't understand, you're not going to understand how the world works, because it's just a reflection of what you're finding within you. And serving, if you're serving, and everything that you serve has to serve you, the experience needs and the evolutionary needs of your soul. But also there's an element of serving others as well in most religions. And when you're trying to serve others, what happens when you run into a conflict between you and serving them? And these kind of conflicts happen all the time. It is perhaps the biggest conflict, other than the first of whether I'm going forward with what this inner voice is calling me to do or not. It's that is a conflict between what I say is the source or God, and a conflict between the ego or the outer self. But the conflict is also with the service of others, because others are probably involved in why and what you're doing. Yet, if you don't understand what's going on within them, then you may not be able to meet their needs. You may not be able to reach a handshake where there's a way of communication or understanding. I think if any of you are old enough to think back to the 90s and where we used to have the dial-up modems, it would dial and you go, just dialing the number, and then you hear this screech noise. And two sides try to get what they called handshake. It was they were actually communicating on the same wavelength. You see, fax machine. You have fax machines now too. But on the most, what I was thinking. But it's this handshake that is important between the one who is serving and the one who is being served. And there is a failure of service, problem in a blockage in the mission. Often it's because there's a failure to achieve this handshake between those who want to serve and those who need to serve. I've been on this path of service here, of conscious service, for a little less than 20 years now. And throughout that time, I've run the full gamut of, I can't say full because there's probably more that I haven't experienced, but the full gamut of experiences, both of success as well as failure, in trying to accomplish what I want within my mission, my efforts to connect and help other people, many of which were as a result of my own doing, not necessarily consciously, because I would be working forward and trying to move things forward. Always there's this element of who am I serving? Am I serving God? Am I serving myself? Am I serving others? And my commitment is to put others first and put me last and put my family last. That I would give my service to anyone who wanted and needed it, because that was the way I was built. That was the way I lived. But that was very depleting. And I discovered that when I tried to transfer myself into where I could create more of an equivalent exchange between me and those serving, such as creating materials and offering coaching and other ways that they could draw on the insights I was offering, that I began to run into some blocks myself, because there were things within me that made it so I questioned myself and going over and doing that there were very things that I was doing. I was asking people to do things that I may not necessarily believe in. And many people who are coming at service from a spiritual perspective run into this, because we have this idea that spirituality and religion are inconsistent with self-interest, that making a profit, getting for yourself is good. And I came from that. I had that. I went through that. It wasn't that it was no good. It was that negotiating the relationship between myself and God and the others wasn't achieving handshake. Energy would flow smoothly in all directions. Instead, it was encountering bumps in the road that would cause me to have to stop and redress certain things, and to then go back and either backtrack or try another approach, or to change things within myself. One of the symptoms of mission is frustration. It's the frustration because of trying to do what you want to do, not being able to do it. It's investing all of your energy and all of yourself into this. But when you do this and put it in the mission, then there becomes a certain expectation. You see yourself within the mission. And when you see yourself within the mission and the mission isn't succeeding the way that you want, you begin to look at yourself and say, well, why am I failing? Why am I not accomplishing what I'm setting out to do? This was extremely difficult for me. I'd always been someone who accomplished everything that I ever saw in my life. Practiced law for 5 years, and everything just kind of came easily and naturally to me. And the teachings and the spiritual side came very naturally, but the monetization of it did not. And so what would happen was I would put in more and more time in the service of giving, but without having the method of receiving return set up where I was comfortable with it and people were comfortable with it. It was making that area an unequivocal exchange. In other words, the exchange was not equivalent. It was not an exchange. It was mostly out and very little coming back. I still had my practice, my consulting business consulting practice going on, but as I'm taking time from those to do this, then I'm not able to reap benefits for myself in the other way. So I went into my mission with an idea that I was this type A personality when I started, that I was going to be able to go into this, take the skills and knowledge that I had learned in business over all these years that I served so many people with, and I was going to translate it to the spiritual field that I was going to say, I was going to immediately go into and not miss a beat. Boom, go straight down that path. And I did that for a while, and it actually worked out very smoothly for a while, until I began realize that giving, one-way giving, required me to have to subsidize my service efforts by some other aspect of my life, by my law practice and consulting practice. But unfortunately, start taking away from them, and attention away from them, and energy away from the areas where the benefits come to you, the benefits start drying up, or they start cutting back. So I started creating problems for myself by basically turning away from my day job to help other people. And that was a mistake. That was a mistake because it led me into the situation of frustration. And it created a condition that I call frustration of purpose. It was purpose that I was going forward to create. In other words, the effort to help spread this understanding about making a difference in the world, and that we all have the calling within us if we just listen and act upon it and get out of its way. It's not manifesting the way I wanted it to. That purpose being blocked. Frustration of purpose, by the way, is it's a term that I've borrowed from my legal career. It is a defense to a contract action to enforce a contract, or because frustration of purpose refers to the purpose of the contract not being to be completed because of some act outside of the control of the parties, or that the effort of what they're trying to do is it's moot because something has happened that has made it so that performance of the contract is for some reason inappropriate. Well, frustration of purpose for those who are serving is a condition that is extremely common, because even if it's a small amount of resistance or that it's not being worked through, the more energy you put into it to hitting that barrier, the more it comes back to you, and the energy that comes back to you is frustration. It's not the good feelings that come from helping other people. It's not the love and affection that you might hope, or the acknowledgement, or anything like that. It's not, because service should not be coming from a standpoint of egoic gratification. But unfortunately, for most of us, we do have some of those elements within us, where we judge ourselves based upon the responses that we get from the people. In frustration of purpose, your energy is basically bouncing back at you and then amplifying and rolling around within you and causing more and more buildup of this frustration and anger, and the anger and other emotions that come with it. And it really stems as much from a expectation and judgment of yourself and what your mission is supposed to accomplish, and how you see yourself within that. For me, I had to go through all these stages of self-examination, because that was what I was trying to share with all of you. I was trying to find a way to help you overcome the obstacle and smooth out bumps and potholes in your path. And maybe I was wrong in trying to do that. Maybe I should just say, okay, well, you go do what you're trying to do, and good luck. But that wasn't me. That wasn't my call. My calling was to shine light on the path so your journey would be a little easier than mine was. So I guess some situations were almost intentionally or intentionally self-induced. And those of you who heard me talk before, you will realize that there's frustration and the blockages, with the energetic blockages that occurred within me as a result of them, started causing a physical response within my body, a stress response, you might call it, from this frustration of purpose, that which ultimately set off gallstones and pancreatitis, which nearly killed me. But I'm still here. I was somehow around to come back and keep sharing this information with you, so I'm going to keep trying to do this. And so bear with me as I try to walk you through dealing with frustration of purpose and the other obstacles that you encounter on the path of your service. Because service is a wonderful thing. It is something that we all want to encourage, yet it's not something we want to force. Service because you should do it, or other people expect you to do it, or you need to do it, is not service at all. That's service of others. That's service of yourself. What the service of others is giving it to them without that expectation in return. It's a gift that we give them. And I still work to try to create this balance between giving and receiving. And you will probably find very few examples other than my direct services where I'm available to consult with you on your issues you're facing in your mission. In terms of products that are offered, I mean, I have my books, and I have my CDs and things, but I'm not nearly as extensive as other speakers. And again, that's part of me in the situations I've created and circumstances within me, because I'm a responsive helper, so to speak, or server. It's that I work based upon the circumstances that I see, and then I draw to it a wide range. I draw off a wide range of goals to try to accomplish that. And it could be anywhere from dealing with legal issues to how you approach your marketing to how you see yourself and conduct your inner journey, or anything in between. But just like the law required me to pull off certain aspects of knowledge here or facts there, and I would have to piece these all together into a plan that worked. This is sort of the way that I work with people. It's because, so in hearing what people say and seeing what they do and how they act, I begin to get a picture of what it is that they need, so that I try to help them work toward it to overcome those obstacles or to deal with them in a better way. But unfortunately, I didn't always do that with myself. You notice it's like, as I say, not as I do. Well, I'm trying to teach you from what I did wrong, and much of my teachings are from the obstacles that I have encountered along the way and how I've dealt with them and the things I have learned. And again, your efforts, understand, are undertaken primarily to create a thread of life experiences that It's going to enable you to do what you came to do. And doing what you came to do is not necessarily the doing of the service for others, but it's the service for yourself in how you meet those situations and use them and process them to allow you to expand who you are. At least expand your knowing of who you are and what you're capable of bringing forth in the world. It is incumbent upon all who hit these points of resistance to question. To question your motives, to question your methods, to question your desired objectives. Because just because you've chosen to serve this way, be the way that it is intended for you to serve. A lot of times our service happens because we get this flash of inspiration, start developing a new way, and we have an interest in new stuff. We begin to explore new things. And we start changing as a result of those. But the inspiration, the flash, the urge may not encountered any of that. It may have simply just been there for you to see something that would make you more what you be. I was going to give an example here. When I was writing Whispers in the Silence, Whispers is about this journey within and the spiritual path, the evolutionary path that we are still on. And it is trying to help you move beyond the dogma of religion so you understand that it's all about the process of unification, and that the teachings of most religions are to help you get the ego out of the way so that you can begin to get quiet and hear this inner voice toward your own wholeness. Again, it's the state of wholeness that we are working toward in creating our world. You are serving, you're dealing with these conditions of the world around you, and you're going to have to figure out, are my efforts causing more separation and difference, or are they bringing people together? Am I working for wholeness, or am I working for individual expression? If it's individual expression, where does that individual expression fit within the whole? Because we all have to find our place within the whole. It is incumbent upon us to realize that there's a big puzzle out there, a great mosaic that's being created by all the different experiences in humanity. Maybe we're not concerned with trying to manufacture that whole puzzle and put it all together. Maybe we're just concerned with one itsy-bitsy little piece. That little piece may be a linchpin of which a whole other bunch of pieces may rely. So it's important for you to add it. But if you don't add it, what happens? Maybe you come back another life to do it again. Maybe you're left to look at it and question, well, why didn't I not act on it? Why didn't I have the urges and follow-up? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And again, the path of service is one of, and the path of conscious leadership, being a conscious leader on that path of service, is one of first being self-aware and realizing who you are and what you bring to the table and where it fits into the greater picture. Even if you don't have a big idea that huge pictures of the earth, of the organism as a whole evolving to, you have a vision of what you want it to evolve. That's what you're working toward, trying to create your vision within that greater puzzle. The problem we run into in people pursuing their visions and pursuing their inner voices is that the egos get in the way, and pretty soon then it becomes a clash of ego, and I know best, I'm going to take us in this direction, or you want to take us in this direction. And this our politics are, they all have visions of what they want the world to look like and how they want it to function. And right now it's in the Clinton Trump campaign season. We have no idea how it will turn out. It's supposed to call at this point. But the clash of visions. One is ostensibly a globalist vision of a that's working toward a more, I don't want to say cooperative, but more controlled by a elite few. In other words, they're trying to set up a structure by which they can appoint and direct the direction by who the leaders are that they put in and how they work together. And that's what the TPP and other trade agreements are for, is to try to set up those structures so that they can influence the shape of the world to come. But they want to do so in terms of greater control, greater benefit to a privileged few that benefit off that control. And Trump, on the other hand, is a nationalist, where he believes that the rush to globalization is not serving the American people very well, and therefore it needs to step back, or we need to step back and take another look at what our relationship is the world around us, that we don't need to be this world's policeman, that if we do on this world, we have to find a way that we receive some compensation for it, because we just can't afford to do it any longer. And I understand both views, and there are elements of both that I know and I see within me, and there are elements that are of neither that are within me, and elements of neither that are most predominant with me, because vision I have is a world of peace and possibility for all, and neither one of them is espousing a world of peace. Both of them I consider warmongers. I fully believe either or both of them will have us in war before the end of their term, if we are not already in war before they get elected or first take office, because that's the course that we're on, which is one of a contentious nature with other worlds or other people around us, other nations, and we are in this adversarial relationship. We seem to be stepping up this Cold War with Russia and China, and a hot war with all of the Islamic. Gosh, I don't use the term nations, the Islamic groups, and that are opposed to that view. And again, they have their view of how the world should be. And first, they obviously want to have Westerners coming in there and bombing them and upsetting the apple cart of their societies. But their societies have a whole different foundation than the Western societies, and the cultures are diametrically opposed, particularly when you put in consider Sharia law that some of the Islamists are trying to impose through their use of force. And so we're running into this clash of cultures that's happening everywhere around us this term in our world. And those who are trying to fix it are having clashes with it, how they want to go about doing it. This is not the world that I want. The world I'm working toward is one where we find a way to move beyond these conflicts, these differences, to understand and not tolerate, but to embrace the differences and find ways to work them within the greater whole, without having to subject them to outside rule, without having to oppress anyone, without having to impose our will upon anyone else or having to impose theirs upon us. It's the kind of world that I'm working toward. I don't know what you are working toward, but this is where I am called to go. And everything within me says that the conflicts of those who are trying to basically take their missions to impose their views or use upon the rest of the world, the country, therefore the world, are not justifiable means. While the ends that they want, that they profess to want, may be good, they may not be. I'm not judging them in either way. The means that they're going about through conflict, through division, through this divide and conquer mentality that pits us against each other everywhere we turn. It doesn't create the kind of world that I want. It doesn't create the kind of world that I'm trying to help you work toward creating. Now, if you're one that wants to get into that fight, that arena is where you're called to be, God bless you. I'll be happy to help you with that. But to help you to understand that the methods that you thought were necessary are not going to take you where you want to go. They may advance your little piece of the mission to a certain extent, but all they're going to do is, if you continue in the old ways, it's going to continue perpetuating the conflict. So again, and this point brings me to another area of service and the obstacles to service, which is the conditions of the world around you, because it's these conditions that we have to move through. They're like, it's like walking through a minefield, and we're not quite sure where they are, but we've got to find a way to weave through all these egos and issues and interests that everybody wants to try to get to this place of a better world. But we can't get there. It starts with your efforts in whatever you're called to do. But if you're encountering challenges along the way that are making you have to grow or to see things a different way or to stop and think and backtrack, then maybe there's something else going on here than just your effort to take the brush and paint over the world the way you want it to be. Maybe it's something about you and your own inner journey and your own evolution that's necessary, and that you're not going to be able to go forward with it in the way you want until you do the changing of yourself within. And again, this series that we're doing, this episode again, is part of a series called Change Yourself, Change Your World. And it's what you, as an awakening server, as a conscious leader, will hopefully begin to see as we move forward together on this journey. Service can be a wonderful thing, but it can be extremely frustrating as well. When you start feeling the frustrations mount within you, that is the time to stop and examine what you're doing and reevaluate the course that you're taking and the methods by which you're taking it. Because odds are good that it's as much your problem as it is what's going on in the world around you. Now, some of you may say, well, it's a money problem, or I don't have the exposure, or I don't have the proper message, or people just don't want to hear what I have to say. Maybe not. So go back to square one, reevaluate. Make sure that you're clear on your intentions and why you're doing it. Then examine how you're going about it. Everything that's going on within you and those that you're trying to reach that's affecting that process. That's where I'd ask you to start. We're about out of time today. I don't think we'll go quite for another 5 or 10 minutes, so we have left on an hour. Primarily because I probably would go another hour if I keep going to some other topics that I have to touch base on this. Again, it's mission block. It's the problem. Frustration of purpose is the result. The solution is the exercise of your consciousness over who you are, what you're doing, and how you're going about doing it. And that all starts this journey of self-examination. I know you'll do that with, and you'll do it well. If you do need help along your journey, you can reach me at missionlaunch.com. I'd be happy to help. God bless you indeed. Go with love.